Hey there, internet. Let me just switch over to my. There we go. There's a little bit higher quality. Oh shit. Oh fuck. Hang on. Fit to screen. Boom. We're back. We're back and we're black. Listen, I'm a little hungover because I had one singular beer last night. Granted, it was a 10 percenter, so you get that hit of the IPA, but the taste of a Belgian. It was a good beer. It was a good relapse. The reason why I had to do a little lapse is because I had to fake the Australian accent, man. You know, I can do a little. I can do a little jokey joke on stage. I did 25 minutes as an Australian man. I've never been there, but I can do a pretty good Australian accent for some reason. I don't know. But after everyone's coming up and talking to me, trying to tell me how hilarious and amazing I am, because obviously, and that's the part where I'm like, this chair. I can't lie to people's faces. Unless I got a little booze in my system, and then it becomes like a fun challenge. Drinking and lying, it's as American as apple pie. And baseball. I guess you don't have both together. But I had to drink a bit to handle the lies I was feeding to these poor Oklahomans. They're a great crowd. I don't think it would have gone well if I was myself. And, that does something to a man to accept that you're a better version of yourself as an Australian. And that's just something I got to accept, I guess. And now I'm presented with the question, do I want to be myself, a person that is rather unlikable, or should I be this fun Australian guy that isn't real? And you know what? I've been doing comedy like 9 years now, and I don't really give a shit about authenticity or originality or any of that anymore. I don't care. I just want to do whatever the hell I feel like doing. So I'm just going to be an Australian person for a while. I don't know. But it's hard to do because it's like I'm thinking, I can't really think about the material. So I'm just doing older jokes and I'm thinking about like, how do I pronounce these words right? And it was pretty fun. And I had so much fun doing it. Because it was an inside joke with myself. So I'm laughing up there, and then that makes people laugh, and they can tell I'm having a good time, but they don't know why I'm having a good time. And the good reason I'm having a good time is because I'm deceiving everyone. And then after the show, I talked to this one nice gal, sweet gal, and she had done jujitsu, and she knew my old coach. Shout out Scott Epstein. That's his name. Unfortunate. He hates my Jew jokes, but he loves me. And she was like, oh yeah, we're really good friends. I'm going to call him tomorrow and tell him we met. Like, what a small world. And I'm just thinking like, that's going to be so funny. She's going to call and be like, oh yeah, Eli Halper. And he's like, yeah, he was one of my students. He's like, yeah, the Australian guy. He was super funny. He's going to be like, what? He's not Australian. What the fuck are you talking about? He's a New Yorker. and I gave him a heads up though. I was like, yo, cover for me. I don't know why I said that. I shouldn't have said anything. So I kind of fucked the whole thing up. But I'm hoping that conversation took place because that's really funny. But yeah, it reminds me, man, back in the day, drinking and lying, that was one of my favorite things to do. I would just get hammered and I would do things like, and I can say this because statute of limitations is over, impersonating police officers and federal agents, pretending I work as IT at a company to sneak into parties. I pretended to be a valet agent once. Not agent, valet. What do you call them? A valet driver. Why did I say agent? I pretended to be a lot of things. I don't know. There's something. I'm a very honest person. It's not something I'm proud of, and it's not something I try to be. I just am autistic enough to where just the path of least resistance is to just speak the truth. Also, like, I remember this one time the first time I went to a strip club when I was like 18, I was telling the stripper that I was studying to become a cardiologist because my grandfather died of a heart attack and I just wanted to make sure no one ever had to deal with that again. As if me going to school is going to prevent heart attacks eternally. And she was like, oh, that's so sweet. You know what? I'll give you a lap dance for free. And I'm just sitting there like, So there's something fun about being a drunk liar. But it has to be an interesting lie. Versus when you lie sober, it's uncomfortable and I mean, I would never lie to anyone for any reason unless uh, we've been dating for longer than 4 months and I actually care about them, or I don't know. I want to say police, but you shouldn't lie to police. You should just not answer their questions. I got pulled over the other night going to someone's house to snort some things. And he pulls me over. He's like, "Hey, you were going 75 on the service lane and you were tailgating two cars. What's that about?" And I was like, "I really got to take a shit." And he's like, "Come on, man, you don't have a better excuse than that?" And I'm like, "Officer, I'm just being honest with you." And I'm like, I'm feeling like this because I'm getting pulled over. It's stressful, which is the same way you grimace when you really got to take a shit. So I was already naturally in character. And then he's like, "So where you headed?" And I'm about to say I'm going home, but then you can clearly see not my address, that it doesn't match my driver's license on my GPS. So I'm like, "I'm going to my buddy's house." And then he's like, does he have an address? And I'm like, "Officer, I don't think I need to discuss my personal life with you." And then he's like, "All right, well, let me get your ID and I'll try to get you out of here as quick as possible." So I give him my ID and he comes back, he lets me off with a warning. And he's like, "By the way, your registration's expired." So, I didn't lie to the cop. I mean, I did about having his shit really bad. But honestly, that's always kind of true. So could be true, Anyways, my point is, it's fun to drink and lie. And also, when I was younger, there was plenty of things to lie about because I wasn't really anyone yet. Now, like if I would make up elaborate stories to random people I would meet out at bars and stuff. Be like, "Yes, I manage a small municipality in the Easter Islands," or I don't know, some weird shit like that. And then just try to do this thing where I would cast out these lines and then I would try to catch up to them and build. Should have just shit myself on the spot and handed it to the cop. I try to cast out these lies and then try to defend them after the fact, where it's kind of the point where it's disrespectful, really, because it's what you do to someone where you're like, you don't care if you get caught in the lie. It's just like, if they do catch you, you're just gonna laugh about it and be like, yeah, full of shit. But it never really got there. They never really caught me or anything. And because usually when you meet someone out drinking and you're like, this guy's a fucking liar, that you don't really feel the need to call him out. You're just like, "All right, buddy," and then you just go on about your night. But now there's nothing to lie about. My life is genuinely interesting. So when I meet people, the shit I say sounds like lies. I get accused of being a compulsive liar by people that I just meet all the time. Well, I don't meet new people all the time, but when I do, they're like, "What? You have 4 rap albums and you're a comedian and you started a religion and a cricket company?" It's like, yes, I did do all those things and I can prove it and they are real. And it sounds like a lie, but it's not. So I guess if you feel like you need to lie to people, you're not interesting. So you should be more interesting. Yeah, Gavin, I might start a business where, how chicks sell their used underwear or bath water. I'm gonna start one where you give me your enemy's address and then I'll send them my shit in a vacuum sealed bag with their name on it with a heart. And it's we'll call it Revengeria. But it won't be diarrhea. Diarrhea would be hard to mail. And the rules, no liquids. No liquids, no lithium batteries, folks. So I'm going to have to, unless you freeze it. No, but then it becomes a liquid. You can bring ice on an airplane because it's in the state of solid at that point. You can bring frozen liquids on an airplane. So if you want to bring Gatorade, Capri Sun, anything, any beverage that's not carbonated really, that you're like, I wish I could bring this on the plane, put it in the freezer, and then you can bring that rock solid stone of Gatorade right on the plane. Because it's not a liquid technically. And the liquids that they're looking for can't freeze. All the like gasoline and like ethanol and flammable liquids can't freeze. So that's just a fun fact for you folks. If you want to bring a beverage on a plane, put that shit in a freezer. Also, a random woman DM'd me complaining about Elon Musk, and I defended him. I said there's no evidence that he was on the island or went to any pedo parties. And then she was like, well, he got invited, or he tried to invite himself, but he got uninvited. And they said he couldn't come because he's too autistic. And I'm like, first of all, that is fake. That didn't happen. That was a fake screenshot that somebody made up. And also, I think if you're too autistic to get invited to the pedo party, that is a layer of plausible deniability. She said, what's the difference between a child rapist and somebody that wants to rape children? And I was like, well, one of them raped a child and the other one didn't, okay? I mean, they're both still pedophiles. But a non-offending pedophile still should be decapitated. But from a legal aspect, they didn't break the law by being fucked in the head. And I'm not sympathizing with them at all. I think they should all be eliminated. But I'm just saying, and I'm not saying Elon is that either. But also then I thought about it and I was like, man, okay, so he did try to hang out and party on St. Bart's, which is not Little St. James. And I was like, well, that's not the pedo island. It's a different island. So it's different. But then I thought about it and I looked at the email and he sent that in 2012. In 2008, that's when Epstein was first arrested and incarcerated briefly for pedophilia or child. I don't remember what the charges was, like sexual assault of a minor or something. It was like, so everyone knew that Epstein was a convicted sex offender after 2008. So anyone who was in contact with Epstein post 2008 knew that they were talking to a sex offender. So Elon, I've had your back this long. Can't do it anymore. You shouldn't have associated with them. Not that my opinion matters to Elon Musk at all. But I had a friend who is currently in jail for beating women for the 4th time. First time he got arrested for beating women, he told me it wasn't true, and I believed him because he was my boy. I was like, man, what a bitch. These bitches are crazy out here. Second time he got arrested for beating women, I'm like, man, this guy's really unlucky. He really must drive them crazy because they just fall in love with him. Third time, I was like, okay, bro, I think you're beating women. Fourth time, I'm like, stop beating women. What the fuck? And you know what I did? I stopped talking to him. You cut off communication with people like that when you know that they're doing these terrible things. And I don't get why you would beat women in the first place anyways. Because first of all, some of them kind of like it. But also, it's like, why would you ever hit a woman when you could just love bomb them for 6 months and then ghost them? That does way more damage, totally legal, and you're still the good guy. That's the most fun way to abuse women, really, is just be really fucking nice and then just stop talking to them one day, because it's not really abusing them, and it's you're being nice. You're being mean by being nice. And I think that's what they mean when they say kill them with kindness. You just got to buy them flowers and tell them how they're the most amazing person in the world. And then one day, oops, I'm busy forever. Bye-bye. and then they just post you on the T app and are we dating the same guy, Austin? it really comes down to people that don't like me just don't get my comedy. That's what it's all about. That's what I'm sticking to. Because everything's a joke, and that's the point of all this. That's the point of life. The purpose of life is entertainment, and not necessarily to entertain others, unless that's the path you've chosen, which a lot of you and myself have. But really entertaining yourself, because when you die, you watch your entire life play before your consciousness like a movie. I was going to say eyes, but you don't have eyes in the spirit realm. You see your life, every moment, play before your eyes like a movie. And the point of life is to make sure that's a good movie. You are writing, directing, and acting as the star of your own film that you get to watch when you die. So that's why it's best to live your life in a manner to do the thing that is the most interesting, that is going to be the best story. Not just because it gives you something to talk about later, but just because it enhances the quality of your life and your soul in its entirety. That's why I'm faking being Australian. It's interesting. It's fun. People don't do that. I don't know. What if I don't do that? Then what am I going to say? I checked into the Patel Motel and we had to change rooms immediately because the first one smelled like literal human excrement. We walked in. We checked into this hotel today. We walk in. I open the door. I'm in a porta potty all of a sudden, and I'm like, fucking, we're not doing this. We walk out. We go to change the room, and this fucking Indian guy with a suit on, with a little plaque that says this establishment is managed by Shalom Enterprises LLC. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. Every time with you people. And they switched us rooms, and this bathroom doesn't smell great either, but at least I can close the door and lock it in there. The first room, this whole area. It was just shit. You could feel it. It was terrible, man. It was terrible. I've just been on a week-long tour of the worst motels imaginable. And I need to grab my charger, and I'm not wearing pants, so sorry about this. Yeah, so I watched, been trying to learn about the whole AI agent stuff. I want to get a little slave robot labor force to do my bidding. And first video I watched, black woman. I'm like, okay, let's be civil here. Let's give her a chance. She's got a YouTube channel. She was well-spoken. This fucking outlet doesn't work. There we go. After watching it, I was like, okay, I feel like she just said nothing. Is that me? Am I retarded? Let's see another video. Asian man. Within the first 10 seconds, I'm like, whoa, information. So, yeah, racism. Also, I got to deal with... Oh, nice. Meta just fixed my my payouts. They stopped giving me payouts for some reason. And then I was like, oh, I need to reset my payout info. And they were like, do the two-factor authentication. And then I typed in the code, and they were like, that's the wrong code. And I'm like, well, that's the only one I got. And they were like, oh, yeah, we can't reset that. So they had to manually reset my payout shit. So this is going to be another headache just down the road periodically forever. It says I made $124 from Reels. Whatever, dude. So, I don't know. What else is there to even talk about at this point? I'm just... Epstein, we get it. Bitcoin, come on. I think it's hard to stay healthy on the road. I've just been eating at the equivalent of Denny's. You go to a small town and you meet some guy and he's like, "Oh, you got to hit the Peacock." I'm like, "All right, okay. We got a restaurant recommendation. Cool." We go there. It's a diner. Everything on the menu you've seen. It wasn't bad, but I'm just trying not to get fat, because that's what happens when you eat like shit and don't work out. So I started injecting retratrutide. Who the fuck names these peptides, dude? Make them in English, all right? Retratrutide. It is, I advocate for it. I condone it because I'm sick of seeing all these fat asses waddling around out here. You should all get on it if you're fat, and don't take too much because you'll throw up the next day. But I'll hell yeah, I love people that look the same as me. But yeah, if you inject retrotutide, apparently has a bunch of other benefits that I didn't read too much into because as long as they're not making me lose testosterone or hair, I'll just deal with it. I've spent my whole life being a human guinea pig for Chinese bathtub supplements. And I'm wearing a pretty big long sleeve shirt right now, but I'm fucking jacked under here, dude. You fucking trust that. You can trust that, brother. And so that'd be kind of funny if I come back leaner from GLP-1 inhibitors and Taco Bell, if I'm in better shape from that than actually training and eating and sleeping and meat and fruit and shit. I doubt that'll happen though. I don't know. I need a haircut, man. I just don't trust these Oklahomos with my flow, yo. You know. I got tesamorelin, and then I found out that I spent like $100 on 2 vials of tesamorelin. And then I looked up the dosage, and apparently it's only enough for like 10 days. I think I got 10 milligrams, and you're supposed to take a milligram every day. So I'm like, that was a waste, $100. I didn't even get the whole cycle. I mean, you need to at least do it for like a couple months or something, you know. I feel like HGH is still probably the GOAT. I don't know. There's so much research out on this. I mean, there's so much research to be done on these new compounds. And I'm a big fan of PEDs, because like the Ds are great. I can't speak much about them honestly on YouTube. But the performance enhancing ones, I mean, dude, if you're going to do lines, you might as well spend some time researching. I don't know. I was hoping I would come up with a better run than that. Like my buddy was. I've had friends before be like, I can't believe you've done roids, and I'm like, dude, I've literally done cane with you. You know, you think I'm gonna draw the line at peak male performance? And it's like, why would you want to do some stuff that messes with your heart, your sleep, your overall health, mental health, sense of well-being, sanity, cognitive abilities? Like, why are you willing to do that from some random dude at a party and you don't even know where it came from? But the lab-made stuff that will make you stronger and better looking is out of the question. That scares me. Oh, I don't want to mess with my hormones. It's like, bro, get jacked. Like, it feels so much better to go through life just being like, I could kill all of you. And they make stuff for women too. I tried this stuff called I don't remember what it was called. It was a sex peptide. PT141. And it came in a nasal spray. And I was like, I'll try it out. I get a little tss. They said to take like 3 in each. I was like, I'm going to take 1 in each. I'm not trying to get bricked up for no explanation like an Egyptian pyramid around you fuckers. So took 1 in each. And then within a few minutes, I was like, and we're sitting having Mexican food. And I'm like, holy shit, this stuff works. I need to get my hands on some of this for when the time comes. Because, Viagra and Cialis, those take a little while to kick in. Cialis is awesome. Not just for that, but it's also a vasodilator. So you get great pumps at the gym, and blood flow increases cognitive abilities as well. So you can, I'll take it before I work out. And this is a fact, or this has been shown by scientific studies. Viagra reduces your chance of getting Alzheimer's by 69%. 69%. That's the real number. That's not a joke. But it's funny, but interesting. But it makes sense because, we are all sexual beings. That's how we got here. We are products of sex. We're trying to get laid, whether you want to admit it or not. People, that's the thing too. You could be like, life's about getting laid and getting pussy, and no, it's about finding a wife and having a family. Oh yeah, well, and what, your wife has a what? A dick? No, she has a pussy. It's the same thing. You're just using different words. So, so you're like, so it would make sense that a drug that would enhance you sexually would also increase your overall health, because sexual health is a sign of overall health. So basically, microdosing Viagra is a super drug for your brain. And Cialis works the same way. I'd recommend Cialis over Viagra because, I don't know, Viagra, that was like the V1. The Cialis is like V3. And it lasts for 3 days. And it's fucking, dude, you're just it gets bigger, and it gets so full of blood that it's almost purple, and it just looks angry, and it means business. And the women will thank you. But don't tell them that you took it, because then they'll be like, oh, you need that to get hard? And it's like, no, I don't need it. I just want to fucking be the best version of myself possible, all right? I'm just trying to, I don't need steroids, but I just want to be extra huge. Actually, maybe I do need steroids. I've been on them so long, I'm basically trans. I've pretty much been on roids for 10 years. Because longer than that. Because I took my first cycle when I was 17 years old. And this kid gave me a bottle of pills. And I was like, yeah, that should make you stronger. And I didn't research it. And I didn't know what I was doing. And I just started taking them. And looking back, he gave me Emdrol, which is one of the top level bodybuilder anabolic steroids that, comes with side effects and liver disorders and all this kind of shit. So I took the most intense roid orally, which is worse than injecting it because it goes through your liver. So it can cause a lot of liver problems. Luckily, I wasn't drinking at that age yet. And then I got into pro hormones and stuff. There was this stuff that existed back in the day. I think they banned it. It was called, I think it was called a pro hormone cyanistine. I think it was cyanistine. It was these yellow pills. And that was my favorite one. I was like a cloud. And then I was just, the whole time I'm like, yeah, well, I'm just doing pro hormones. I'm not doing actual steroids. It's not a big deal. And then one day my buddy was like, you want to do actual steroids? And I'm like, all right, sure. And then started that. And then I just started getting huge. And I was like, this is awesome. I should have done this when I was younger. And then looking back, oh, I was doing that when I was younger. But the thing about injecting testosterone is that it it will most likely dampen your system for life. So you kind of have to be on it forever. You can get off of it, but then you have to take Clomid for 4 weeks and HCG, and then that's supposed to balance you out. And it'll get you like probably 80% of the way back there, but it's I'm not sure if you get the same as you once were. But then again, like, why do you want to be just your natural self? People that promote sobriety are like, you should just want to be in your natural state and just nothing improving or affecting or enhancing you or altering you. And I'm like, okay, well, how about you go outside butt naked with no shoes then? How about you walk around barefoot? Don't drive cars. Don't use a fridge. Store your meat in salt basins. You know, it's like, nature's great. Nature's beautiful and all. But the thing about humans is we're probably genetically modified and altered, and we require technology. I don't get blood work done. I don't know my testosterone level. I'm shooting in the dark. I'm probably going to end up with some significant issues. But I got it tested at one point, and it was like right after I got off cycle, so it was pretty low, so it was like around like 400 something. But it still hadn't rebounded to where I was supposed to be at. So I don't really know what my testosterone levels are base, and I don't know what they are on cycle. But nature, doing things naturally is, there's a time for nature. You know, going out, enjoying the sun, swimming in a river, hiking, that's all great. But you need technology involved. You need to wear shoes. And if you're one of those freaks that walks around barefoot, that's fucking cool. But you need to filter some of the water that you find out there. You can't just drink any stream water. If you find a fish or there's an animal out there, you need some technology to hunt them. You need some technology to cook them. You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I'm saying? So just performance enhancing drugs are just tools in the form of chemicals that go into your body. And I mean, if you have money, you should be spending as much as you can trying to improve every part of your biology. And not for cosmetic reasons, for like strength reasons. Like, I don't condone plastic surgery. I think that's weird. I think that's creepy. That's another form of lying. I might get a nose job when I'm like 50 if I'm not super rich, because the nose just keeps growing. But right now it's, I'm young enough and ripped, so being good looking doesn't really matter that much if you're a guy. If you just need to be have like a personality and stuff. But just being like as strong and healthy as possible, and just having your system oiled up like a you shouldn't be like oiling yourself up like a bodybuilder, but just your body should function like a well-oiled machine. Your body should just be WD-40'd at all the hinges and just running smooth. And that's not to say that peptides will replace any of the natural stuff, because you need the natural stuff. You need the natural 8 hours of sleep and the natural foods and quality hydration, which is more than just water. It's also electrolytes, because the whole point of hydrating is making your body conducive for electricity, which is why electricity travels much faster through salt water. So you're making your body a walking battery, basically. Because something I realized when I first went sober was that, not that I'm still sober, but I did go sober for like a year. And I realized that the mind is infinite. You can think about stuff for an eternity. Even after you die, your mind is still floating around. But the body is finite, and life is finite. This life is finite. So you should be trying to optimize your body as much as possible. That just seems obvious to me. Which is weird how, like, all the Jews are all, like, Hasidic Jews specifically, are all just scrawny and out of shape. And it's like, if your whole life is about studying the Torah and God and trying to pay your love and respects to the Lord and the Creator, why would you disrespect Him by being a scrawny bitch? Why would you want to not fully optimize your body? And I emailed a bunch of them about this, actually. I DM'd them on Instagram and I was like, hey, why they should be like Hasidic Jewish bodybuilding or something. If you guys, I feel like you're missing part of the Torah that says that or something. Because your body's the only thing you truly own in this life. Everything else can be taken away. I mean, I guess if you're Palestinian, they can take your kidneys and donate them to the Guinness World Records. Did you hear about that? Israel was banned from participating in the Guinness Book of World Records, but then they got their place back. They got their admission allowed back in by donating a record number of kidneys. 200,000 kidneys. And yeah, where do you think they got those from? Pretty obvious. And then there's like Michael Rappaport, those fucking dickheads that are saying like, oh, the death toll's only 30K. That's not enough to be a genocide. Well, we're the 100,000. It's at least 100,000 because we got 2 kidneys. 200,000. Yeah, if they were walking around jacked up, I don't know if that would be scarier or funnier or both, but I think they would stop wanting to control the world as much. Because you look at all the Jewish guys that are trying to control the world and they're all fucking scrawny, dorky nerds. You know? Like, people like Conor McGregor are, you know, pieces of shit in their personal life, but on a global scale, they're not conspiring to destroy family values and entire demographics of people. I mean, he's got some pretty bad accusations. Maybe that was a bad example. But I don't know. What else I got here? I feel like if I'm gonna be streaming, I gotta do these for longer. Uh-oh. An issue is preventing. Yeah, I think I'm gonna end this. I gotta contact fucking. There's still 12 people watching this. I gotta email these Facebook. See, Mark Zuckerberg, great example. He's you know what? And then there was a problem submitting your contact request. Dude, fuck this. Fuck Facebook. But it's like, bullying is not the answer. My, like when Chris Rock had that special, he was like, we got to bring bullying back. We got to bully Zuckerberg and Bill Gates. And it's like, no, that's why they became evil in the first place. Like, you shouldn't go around assaulting Jews because then they're just going to want to go behind the scenes and take more of your freedoms away and palantir your ass even harder. But, all right, Jimmy's back. I'm going to go. We got a show to do. I'm going to be